Hi everyone, welcome back to the Learn Scriptcase from Scratch video course. We're continuing part 5 of this course today, looking at the log module. So my name is Nate Carpenter, and I'm the instructor leading this course. So let's go ahead and get started and look at what the log module can do for us. So as you can see, we're in part 5, we're looking at security and logging. This is the last video in this part, and then we can move on to deployment. So, as you know, we're using Global Music Supply, GMS, as a case study, a fictional case study to kind of guide us through this process. So you've set up security so far to make sure that only the correct people have control over the data. But you also know that human error is a reality, and as developers, we need to account for that. So one way to do that is to be able to track who is using what and what changes are made to the data, so that you can roll back bad changes and you can see if there was a problem with a change. So this is where the log module comes in and allows us to track any changes so that we can change things if needed. So let's go over the script case and get started with the log module. Okay, so here we are in our development environment and we've got all of our applications. Now we need to go up to modules, log, and there's 3 options here. But first we need to go to create edit log module so that we have a module set up. So we can name this whatever we want. I'm going to call it GMS log, like so. We can put a description in if we want. Choose our connection, and then it's going to create a database table. And we can choose what we want to log by. We're going to use the user login, and then what events that we have. So access, insert, update, and delete. We're going to leave those. And we're going to log all the fields, not just the key fields. That way we can see if bad changes are made to the data. And then click OK, and then as you can see, it created the log. We can view the SQL, but let's hit save on that. So now we can decide which applications are added to this log schema. So we're going to select all the applications here like so, and then we're going to apply the schema of GMS log to all of them here at the top. If you wanted to do only certain ones, you could do that as well. And then we're going to choose to save all the fields to the log, and then all events. So access, insert, update, and delete. So anytime any of those events are done, it's going to save them, and it's going to save any fields added or changed or deleted there, as you can see. So we do that for all of the applications, and then go ahead and click save on that, and then close on that. So now let's look at some of those other options we have now that our log module is created. So go back up to modules log, applications related to log. That's what we just saw here, where we're relating applications to the log modules. And then we can also query our log here. So we go to that, and we need to create an application for the log. So that's going to create a grid that looks at a log application here. So we can set some settings there, including security, the theme for that, just like any grid application that we've done. And then we can go ahead and click create, and it's going to create a new grid here in a log folder. So now let's go ahead and run our login application here, and we can log in, and it's going to start logging any changes we make here once we log in. And once we do that, then we need to update our security module to include our log module. So we need to go up to our security folder, and we need to synchronize applications. So we need to add that to our security module. So then we can set permissions on that. And then we need to go to groups applications to allow our administrator to have access to that log module. So administrator group, but that's us. And then we can go ahead and find that log module. So we could search for it, log, and then click search. And there is our app grid log. We just added it, add all the permissions, and go ahead and hit save selected on that. And then go ahead and log out. Now we need to go back to our menu and go ahead and edit our menu to include our log application that we just created. So we're going to put that under the security menu here, because that's kind of part of security. So select our security modules, or our security menu here, add a new item, bump it in so it's under security, and name it log, like so, and then link it to our log grid, like so. And then once all of this is done, we can go ahead and access our log grid like so. So let's go ahead. You can see it right there on the end of this security menu. Let's go ahead and generate the source, and then we need to go back and log into our system. So go back to security and run our login application. and then wait for that to generate, and then go over and log in with our admin credentials. Make sure we get the correct username and password. Go ahead and sign in, and then go to our security menu, and there is our log application. Click that, and as you can see, it's already added some entries here. So it's logging for the admin user, access to the login application and the menu application here, and some messaging about that. Now, if we go and access another application, like one of our grids here, and then try to find that in the grid, in the log, we won't be able to find that. So if we go back to our log and let it reload, and try to find that grid application that we just accessed, we're not going to find it here. And the reason for that is, even though all the applications have been added to the log, we still need to generate the source for those applications. So let's go back to Scriptcase and generate the source so that those changes are made live and we can find it here in this grid application. So back in the development environment, we're going to go to all applications. As you can see, most of them are outdated because those changes have not been generated. So we're going to select them all and then click generate on them. And now they're all generated here. So let's go back to our login application here. So let's go to security and run our login application. Wait for that to load here, and then we can log in again, and now we should see logging for all of our applications. So let's log in with our admin credentials, and then we can go to one of our applications. So we can go to a grid here for instruments, and once we do that, it'll enter a access entry in our log. So let's go here and let's try to find that application name. So let's sort by insert date. Ascending, so let me get the sort right here, and as you can see, grid instruments right there, and a couple different charts and so forth that have been accessed. Now let's do an update event here, or an add event. So we're going to go to genre, and we're going to add a new genre. Let's call this genre pop, and then go ahead and hit save on that, and that'll be logged. So we need to reload our log application here. So let's go back to security and log so that we reload it to have new data. And as you can see right here, for form genre, it has that new record added. So an insert event, genre ID is 7, and the field new is name pop. Let's go ahead and edit that record now. So let's call it popular to make it a little bit more clean, and then go ahead and save that. And then reload our log, and it should have both the old value and the new value saved in the log. And as you can see, it has that. So our ID is 7. Old value was pop and new value is popular. So that allows us to have a lot of functionality if we need to roll back a change or something to see what was changed. So that's how you use the log module in Scriptcase.